Will call the Monday, February 22nd meeting of the Ayer Board of Health to order. First item on the agenda is public.
I didn't bring the recorder, so just go slow because I'm
I will.
taking notes. Our secretary's on vacation. I should have brought the recorder,
That's
I
all right.
suppose.
I'll help you.
That's all
I'll
right.
write
Just
down
don't
some
go.
stuff. Public input.
Okay.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
My name's Chad.
Come up to the
I
microphone.
had to come up.
Yeah.
Please. Yeah. We want to hear you.
All right. My name is Chad. I own the electronic cigarette shop right across the street. And I saw that you guys are reviewing the Tingsboro regulations. So
Yes.
I figured I would pop my head in and see
great.
where we're all at.
It's great to know. So welcome to town, Chad. I think you've been there for the better side of 6 months? 8
Yes,
months,
since
give or take?
June.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Wow.
And so I hope as a local business, you're enjoying your time here in town so far. It is kind of a nice downtown, a lot of
Absolutely.
foot traffic. This board right now, to give you a little background, and by all means, ladies, both Pam and Mary and myself have been on the board now for the better side of 5+ years together as a board.
Okay.
This board at this point has taken no action on making any changes to our existing tobacco regulations. I think it's goes without saying that there's been a lot of stuff in the media, as well as getting different solicitations from different other groups around having local boards apply a different layer of regulation, more restrictive, maybe just controlling some of the marketing and that kind of stuff. This board, the Board of Health, of course, is charged with protecting public health. And so this board over the past couple years, we have kind of stayed out of that debate because we thought what we would do is kind of wait to see how the state designed any kind of, if the state made any application of change to the state regulation, that we of course would adhere to that and we would fine tune it to what we saw fit in Ayer.
Sure.
Having the regulation on the board's agenda tonight was really to see, because I believe Tingsboro just passed their update. And all we decided to do as a group, because we can't have side conversations because it's a violation of open meeting law. So really all we wanted to do was take an advantage to kind of review the regulation as a group and again, decide if it's something that the board wants to do.
Sure.
And so that's kind of a summary of where we stand right now. Okay. I don't believe that it's in our charter, in our plan for the immediate future to make any changes, but I think what we do need to do is kind of see maybe how other towns are addressing it and kind of come up with our own take on it, whether it's to adopt a similar regulation or Ayer is Ayer, and we have our own mindset around those kinds of things.
Sure.
So, and I believe, at least I can speak for myself, and pretty much what I've come to know from this board is we don't necessarily believe in establishing a regulation for regulation's sake. We adopted a solid waste regulation here that was probably took a little over a year in the making, and even with that, it was the first regulation of its kind in town. And it was to really address a solid waste issue around trash haulers and making sure they're maintaining their vehicles and not discarding trash all over town and operating. So, we identify a need, not necessarily a trend.
Sure.
So,
of course.
So I don't know that we'll take any action at this point, but we do have a couple of. Does the board want to take up that item ahead of anything else?
Is he interested in a particular thing or what?
I'm not necessarily here to speak on it. I figured I'd just pop in. I have an employee, fortunately, now, so
excellent.
I have the time to come over here, and I figured I'd pop my head in and at least come in and make the introduction.
Sure.
And go from there. So, yeah.
Well, I think I've always felt if it's not broken, let's not fix it. And we have not had violations to our current tobacco regs. So I think that speaks well of all the businesses here and our regulations. We've been asked a couple of times to amend them, but I personally, I go on record as saying I hate cigarettes. However, people have to take some responsibility for their lives, and we can't control every aspect. I think our regulations are good, the fact that we haven't had a problem with them. And if the state comes up with some brand new things, then we'd have to look at. That's my personal feeling on it. But having read in the paper that Tingsboro had just updated theirs, and I think they did theirs around the time we did ours in 2007, or it's 2008, so we thought we'd take a look at them, so that's,
I mean, have you guys had the chance to see what the Attorney General had passed back in September?
in fact, I have a copy of it.
Because I have a copy of that in my shop as well.
Summary of amended cigarette, cigar, smokeless tobacco, and electronic smoking devices regulations.
Yes. So, I mean, obviously, this is, you know, a business that we obviously try to prevent people from continuing to smoke cigarettes. And although it may not be 100% safe, I think we look at it from a harm reduction standpoint and say that every customer's experience would say that it is a harm reduction matter versus lighting tobacco on fire and smoking it, basically. So.
I'm actually just, and I apologize, I was away on a little bit of travel and then have been kind of catching up.
I'm just curious, do you sell in your shop? I thought this was interesting in the information that we had from Kingsborough, that they spoke to someone from the mobile station there, and they said that the pineapple and watermelon flavored tobaccos are popular flavors, and is that something that you see in your shop too?
So
A lot of
you
people
would
like
be-
fruity flavored things.
One,
or-
I'd welcome all of you to come to my shop at some point and see what I do on a day-to-day basis. But
Yeah.
we have so many different flavors in our shop, and the reason is I have tobacco flavors as well. They
Yeah.
don't actually have anything to do with tobacco. They just have the flavor of, say, a cigarette or a menthol or something
Yeah,
along those lines.
yeah.
But a lot of people that quit smoking cigarettes and start vaping want to get away from the association of cigarettes. So they don't want to continue tasting something that tastes of cigarettes. So we have flavors like cotton candies and cereals. I mean, I have like Fruit Loops with milk, with no milk, and all types of craziness. But basically,
Yeah.
it's the association of, you know, I don't want to smoke cigarettes anymore because they're bad for you. Why do I want to vape what is a cigarette taste?
It's interesting. Yeah.
And we're not doing it to lure anybody in or anything like that. Even before the Attorney General had passed the 18 plus for vaping, we
Yeah.
had always had a sign in our shop from day one that said 18 plus, no matter what. And it's always 18 plus, like you can't go in there with a 17-year-old or anything else. You're
Yeah.
back outside again.
Yeah.
It's not that kind of store, so.
What does it taste like if you have a flavorless? Are there flavorless?
There is
vaping
flavorless as
too?
well.
And does it just taste like nothing?
It would taste like nothing. It would just taste like air, essentially. It would be like breathing air, except you would then blow out the vapor production
Okay,
afterwards.
okay, but it doesn't have any, the plain stuff doesn't have a flavor.
No.
You know?
But we don't even sell plain stuff because nobody wants the unflavored stuff.
Oh, really? Okay, okay. They either want it to taste like a cigarette or they don't want it to taste like
That's
a
exactly
cigarette.
it,
That's
yeah.
interesting.
And there's so very few that actually want the tobacco flavors. It's our least selling flavor, actually.
I can see where if it, you know, if someone really is using it for cessation, it probably is a little tormenting to have the,
Yeah.
you know, flavor of the tobacco. but-
Sure. I mean, we have people that range anywhere from, you know,
Yeah.
18 to, well, let's see, 70-ish that come in and want to quit smoking for one
Yeah.
reason or another, and they do it. So,
Interesting.
yeah.
Okay.
So I think we'll just have a little review of this right now and just kind of have a discussion. I am familiar with how this regulation is written. I just breezed through the press release to kind of look at the summary. I'm not convinced that there's more risk than reward on this from a public health standpoint. Meaning, if somebody's going to use it as a cessation device, I would almost want to not apply. I mean, there is an 18 and under ban on selling at this point, which is what we
Yeah.
have for tobacco products. We have not been, and we do belong to a tobacco control program. We do have a representative that does come to meet with us. We have not been given any charge to modify our regulation at this point. I think they always want us to always look at them. So I would say, just as one member of the board, that I don't see an immediate need to change our regulation until we know more. Then, I mean, I'm reading and I'm just breezing through some of this, and I certainly don't want to make any of the folks at home watching not think that I'm not reading through it. But comments in here around the e-cigarettes and wanting to do undermining efforts on use of medication, and I'm like, but then you're implying that you should take medication, and sometimes practical things can also be considered cessation devices. And so I would say, for me, to stop talking and say I'm not in favor of looking at a modification right now.
Yeah.
But what I would, and I don't know, Pam, I mean, it's kind of early on to see Tingsboro change their reg. I don't think, and I think we keep a pretty close ear to the ground on these things, I don't think we've seen a lot of other towns modifying their regulation at this point, because given the Attorney General's what they handed down with respect to the ban on sale under 18. I think that will, and when I read some of these things on numbers of kids using the increase in the maybe some youth using these, but that number could have been easily smoking tobacco too. So some of the numbers it doesn't convince me that there's a true public health need to put any more restriction on it than restricting the sale like we do at this point. I
actually think it's a really tough call, because I think as a board of health, it's a little ironic in a way that we, are even involved in the issuing of permits for something that is incredibly unhealthy. So, there is kind of that.
There's that whole other conversation. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
But, even the FDA, who I deal with a lot in my work life, now has the authority to regulate tobacco, and they're not doing anything about it.
Right.
So,
Right.
I don't really want to choose this hill to die on. I would not have a big problem if we could successfully just get rid of it completely, but, in
Right.
practical terms. The one thing, though, that we have been asked about, and it was a while back, it might have even been before you became chair, and that was Parks and Recreation.
That's
came to us
Yeah.
looking for some guidance on at Sandy Pond and
That's
really at all of the recreational
That's
areas.
That's right.
Is vaping considered smoking? Because there are big signs up there that smoking is banned. So is it smoking? And I don't know if that's still a hot.
I think they made
Issue?
their own decision.
I think
They did.
on use.
They
Yeah.
did, and I wouldn't have any problem with the board backing them in that, because you are exhaling. You're not, even when you're vaping, your body isn't absorbing everything that's in that vapor, so you are exhaling some of it. So if that was the reasoning behind banning, smoking in public places on town property, I would say the same thing should apply to vaping. But as far as restrictions on sales or anything beyond what is already in the mass law, yeah.
I think for now, and
I don't
to
think we need to
summarize the board,
rush to it
is that
either.
right now, I think that our board doesn't have any intention of modifying our regulation. What I would encourage you to do is, let me ask you, as part of your business practice, do you have any, I know I was just breezing through this, as a matter of fact, they talk about providing anti-smoking literature or cessation literature. Do you have anything that kind of, gives people resource, like if they're buying your devices to try to help stop, is there anything else that you give them? Like, here's some other resources. Okay, so it's a retail operation.
We don't, and the reason is one, our belief in the vaping world is most of the companies are very small, like independent,
Right.
privately owned companies.
Yeah.
And a lot of these cessation devices are big conglomerates of.
Okay. Sure. Okay.
Big
Fair
tobacco
enough.
and
You know what?
things
I
like
just
this.
figured I was just breezing through some of this and around providing information and such. But what I would encourage you to do, of course, is always check our agendas. I mean, you're right here in town. Check the agenda. We wouldn't have any discussion around modifying a Board of Health regulation without proper due diligence and due process. And
Of
so,
course.
this was the first, we've reviewed this as a board to kind
Yeah.
of determine the path we want. 6 months from now, we could have our tobacco control program come to us and provide us with a model regulation that's being adopted in the region.
Sure.
And what I would say is this board has always been very fair at looking at a regulation, making it as simple and as concatenated as possible to address the issue. And so I would definitely say to keep your keep your eyes open, and you would always be welcome, even if you walked in to just say hi to see if we were talking about it. Now that you have an
Of course.
employee.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly, and you can stop by.
I
No,
can.
but
I
you know
have
what,
the
I
advantage,
actually
that's why.
appreciate your diligence and even coming by tonight to kind of see if there's any other discussions happening, so. And are you the only vapor store in town?
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So definitely, and if you think that you might want to put together some stuff for us to even kind of read and understand more, by all means, drop it off in our office up on the 3rd floor.
Certainly. Yeah,
So
I have
education
advocacy
is-
groups that we're
Yeah,
members with as well.
I mean, I think
that
knowledge is
have
power,
a
and
lot of
getting
beneficial-
information as you know.
So this is strictly vaping that you have over there?
That is it. I don't sell any tobacco products whatsoever. It's just electronic cigarettes in there.
Okay,
Yes.
Yeah.
okay.
All right.
Now, we might, though I do feel compelled to mention that, we might want to look at our regulation a little more closely just to see that it is in line with the new mass law. I think that there are some gaps between.
Oh, between the
Yes.
law and our reg.
Yeah, but that I don't think would extend
That would
to
be, yeah, that would, it's got the sales.
restricting sale, would still
Right.
be sales, 18 and above, which you're already complying with. I think that there is, though, I thought there was a requirement, but maybe not, that there had to be something posted about smoking cessation, but I'm not actually seeing that in the, so I might have been thinking about the regular mass tobacco laws. So I don't think anything that we would do really would impact your business in a negative way.
Right.
Is Joan the?
Joan.
Yes.
I've actually had
Yes.
discussion with Joan before, so
Yep.
Yeah.
I can get some
She's our
literature
rep.
from her as
Yeah,
well.
that's great.
Yeah,
So-
yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I think for now, as a board, we're definitely going to, I mean, while we discussed it briefly this evening, I'm sure we'll all read it a little bit more and kind of follow things as they evolve or if they evolve.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, you would always be welcome at a board meeting,
Thank you.
okay? Thank
Much
you very much.
appreciated.
All right.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for stopping by.
All right, thanks
Nice
for
to have
having me.
Yep.
company.
Maybe you'll see me again.
Yep, very good. Thank you.
Anytime.
All right. Did we get any material from Bridget?
yeah, it's what I gave you.
I'm crazy.
I gave it to you.
Oh,
and it had a clip.
you know what? I tucked it in. I tucked it in into the mail, into the
in your
back of the mail.
pile, right?
Thank you, Mary. Thank you very much. It's an animal bite.
The cat.
The
Cat on
yeah,
Maple
and
Street?
Hold that thought for a
Yeah,
minute.
okay.
You saw my reply to Carly.
I did, yeah.
And then there was a housing violation at 32 Williams. So basically, she did Bridget just sent a follow-up to the owner of a property at 32 Williams Street, and it was a failure to comply.
But this is old, isn't it?
Yeah, but this is, a recent letter from her, dated January 27th. The violations were from October and November.
Well, that's not good.
And so, she's basically following up with him. She actually had a conversation, it looks like, this at the end of January about it with the owner.
Is this, excuse me, is this, so I get this, an out-of-state owner?
Out of state, San Pedro, California.
Oh, goody.
Oh, wow.
Oh, good.
Mm-hmm.
I like those because it just is so lovely to try and get anything done.
You're so right.
Especially from cross country. Wow.
Yes. In state, so owner in California.
Mm-hmm.
So let me just make sure I'm clear. So this is ongoing since September,
Ongoing
October,
since October, November.
October.
Yep.
and nothing done. Okay. Generally, isn't there some type of mass general law that
That's
if it
what
goes
she has
undone,
cited. Yep.
that the
She
tenant
cited,
can
yep,
withhold rent?
withholding, Yep.
Yeah.
The letter basically cites a whole bunch of mass general law with respect to, failure to comply, allows tenants to exercise their rights of rent withholding, unfair and deceptive practices. So she's basically laying it right out for him at this point. And the property, it was the original housing letter, which isn't in here, is with respect to carbon monoxide, but the property is completely electric, so she's telling him to follow up with the fire department. And that the unit may not be reoccupied if the unit becomes vacant.
So right now, there's a tenant in
There is
there.
a tenant.
Well, with about all the fires we've had in the last 3 months, that's not good to hear that there's violations and it's all electric thing. We've had a lot of fires and a lot of them
the
have been
original housing.
electrical
I
things.
don't have it, so I can't
Okay,
tell you
okay.
what's.
But
the
you're just
property.
saying that there was a carbon monoxide, but.
There's no carbon monoxide detector, but if it's completely electric, she's telling him to
Yeah,
follow up with the
yeah,
fire department.
Yeah, yeah.
So, all right. So that one, we will actually look to follow up on this.
So I'm going to star that one because
Yep.
this is old and this may be an ongoing battle.
Well, I would actually say the idea that it's in October, I'm like, why haven't we gone to court against them yet? Even if it's
Exactly.
just to file
Yeah.
something.
Yes.
I mean, and that's kind of, I don't mean any disrespect against Bridget at all.
No,
Because I
right.
think 90% of the time she can gain compliance, but that's when she should come to us and say, I need help
Yeah.
getting this landlord
Yeah.
to comply. Because it might even just take a simple letter from our council to say,
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
and you know what, to me, that's the cost of doing business in town. If we need to have council send a letter
Yeah.
to a landlord that's not paying attention.
Yep.
So I'm actually gonna follow up with
Thank you.
Bridget as well. And ask her why she hasn't come to us for help on it. But she might have actually, I don't know, sometimes I think you hope to get that landlord to comply, but very frustrating. All right, and the other one is just a planning board. Anything about this? This is the first time I've seen this. This is Ayer solar project,
Oh, that's the one
Yeah.
up off
definitive plan,
of, is it
way up, right?
near Rosewood or something up there? Rosewood Extension, what does it say on the front?
Well, so the front here,
No, right on there, where is the place?
yep, it's at Rosewood Avenue Extension. But Bridget has approved it with no comments from the Board of Health on it, so must be,
I think that one was at the planning board, that's Calvin Moore, I believe. There was
Yep.
a ton of people
Yep.
here last week for that,
Yep.
I think.
Okay.
oh, this is, I know where this is. Okay, I understand, okay.
Okay, so that
That's
was.
that was, Air Solar off Rosewood Avenue Extension. How's that for an address?
Okay.
Oh.
Extension. Okay.
Great. And I just wanted to get back to this cat fight with Mary Ann Bowler, because I was copied on the email from Carlene.
Yeah,
Carlene had sent an email in to Jane and Pam and myself, and basically asked if the board had any real agenda to deal with feral cats. And I tried to respond as appropriately as possible, because I don't know that we've seen a lot of these particular issues. And the board doesn't have a plan to address feral cats.
And this is a
but
feral cat?
I believe it's feral. They don't know. It's definitely a stray. At least from
I was a
everything
little
that
confused
Carlene.
from her email about the owner and whether the woman is the
I
owner or whether
I don't.
she's
I don't know.
kind of
What is
taking
the
over
address?
Person 21 3rd Street.
Okay.
She's got question marks near name of animal, name of owner, local cat, unknown owner.
Oh,
So,
okay.
And so, as far as we're concerned, I other than trying very hard to educate people to not be feeding the stray
Yeah.
cat population in their neighborhood,
Mm-hmm.
I know it sounds like common sense to not go,
Well, a part of what happened, because I kind of live in the area there was an enormous feral cat population, I would say 10 years ago. And it was a combination of a few things. It was the elderly housing. I think there were several people over there feeding cats. There was also, and this may be the person that Carlene referred to in her email, a woman that used to feed the cats but has since passed away. I think that may be the house across the street from me. And what happened there was someone came around wanting to know if they could put up feeding stations. And they covered that whole neighborhood because what they were trying to do, they said, was we're going to establish feeding stations, then we're going to set traps. And we're going to do trap, neuter, and release. The problem was it never moved beyond feeding station. We had allowed them to put one in our yard, and when we realized that there was no trapping to come, just feeding, we told them to take it out of our yard. Some of the people on my street and in that kind of, because if Third ran all the way through, it would actually come in and intersect my street. It would make a T intersection with my street. So some of, I think, the older folks in that area, didn't really bother to say, take away the feeding stations. And then I think the group, whoever was doing it, just kind of lost interest. So over a period of time, population's gone way down. So in my opinion, at least where I am, as part of that affected area, it's not nearly as bad as it has been in the past.
Okay. All right.
But yes, there is still a
I
sizable
think it's
feral
endemic.
cat population.
It's endemic everywhere. I think
Yeah.
that it's. I think shelters are full, and I think unfortunately this
I
is
know.
just the unfortunate result of people getting animals and not being able to take care of them and releasing. It's an unfortunate situation. I actually, just to kind of let you. Carlene had just emailed in just to ask if the board had any information on it. And my reply back to her was that this board doesn't have any program in place. We don't have any funding. We don't have a program. We don't even have a
Right.
sponsor for a program.
Right.
But also, we don't hear about it. And what I
Yeah.
mean is we don't hear
Yeah.
about if it was a major problem.
Yeah.
If you had a feral cat problem up where you would know, it would be fairly significant.
Oh, when it's bad, it is so
Well,
noticeable.
we had one a few
Yeah.
years ago, remember on Shirley Street?
That's right.
Yeah.
We had a complaint and
Yeah.
she had to get a league came and got them.
Yeah.
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 But what I did when I replied back, Mary, was I copied Bridget and I said, you know what, Carlene, talk to Bridget about some of this stuff because she might be able to give her information on the region. Like if there's, there might be regional efforts around it. Because of course the cats don't stop at the Airtown line and say, we're done
Right.
here.
That's right. Yeah.
So, but there might
Yeah.
be regional efforts around it too,
Yeah.
So I was kind of hoping if Bridget had anything to add, she would have chimed in, so.
It's also possible that we haven't heard about it, but maybe nobody's really
My
thought to
other,
call Board
my
of Health,
primary
so.
concern outside of the cat is making sure this woman got treatment.
Yeah,
'Cause
absolutely.
you can't just say, oh, make sure, I'm like, can you please follow up with her and make sure she
Yeah.
understands that?
Yeah,
So, all right,
yeah.
so that was, I just wanted to chime in on that one.
But for the folks watching at home, just
That's right.
the thing
Don't-
about
don't
feral cats, it sounds cool
feed-
not to feed them, but cats' birth rates expand and contract in proportion to how much food is
Yep.
available.
Yep.
So the more food that's available, you are actually creating more feral cats,
That's right.
unfortunately.
Don't
I
touch
think I
cats.
have more cats in my neighborhood than people.
Yeah,
Oh.
so,
And you're right. I see people out there feeding them all the time, and you don't
I
even,
know.
and that's bad.
I know, it's human nature to want to
But
feed
you
a
know what?
homeless
If you
animal.
want to get a kitten or a puppy, whatever you get, you need to be able to take care of it and have it fixed.
That's right.
But when you can't and you haven't had them fixed, and you have 4 or 5 and you just leave them out,
I know.
and next thing you know, the 4 or 5, you have 25.
Well, they do what nature intends.
Indeed they do.
Quite well.
All right.
Well,
All right, let's move on and have this just, you you
Yeah.
both attended the zoning bylaw
Zoning.
informational meeting, which seems like a year ago at this point, between
I know, doesn't
traveling
it?
and ice storms.
Oh,
And I had tried to draft up a memo to kind of capture some of the comments, but what I want to make sure, and that's still in draft form, because of course, we haven't met since then. So, my question for the board is, you both attended. I presume you both asked really good questions and had some conversations around it. I believe, just from what I've seen, and from Mary's comments and Pam's comments, that there was questions around their identifying themselves as special permit granting authority, and in our regulation, we're the special permit granting authority.
right.
I don't disagree that it's really not something we need to address, because our regulation is not the zoning bylaw. So
Correct.
we are still gonna have our aquifer regulation regardless
Absolutely.
of the zoning bylaw. But my question was, does the board have any comments that we do want to submit back to them that we feel are still unresolved? And I want to go to them with a unified, if we do have comments, what they are. And I don't even know if it's too late now for them, but.
Well, I mean, and Jeremy did say when we spoke at the meeting that this was something that they would consider. And I really feel that we've got to have some kind of a unified regulation. We can't have our regulation.
This is a bylaw.
yeah, but you're getting them,
Exactly.
don't get them confused.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
We can't have our regulation and a zoning bylaw out there, each of which requires a special permit granting authority, and have one say that we are the SPGA, another one say they are the SPGA. That is not fair to the residents of this town. It's just not fair. Because
I disagree completely, because one's a bylaw, which is subject to the whim of whoever shows up at
But
town
what
meeting, and ours
practical-
is a regulation.
And what practical difference does that make to the average resident of this town who's trying to do the right thing and says, okay, I know there's a bylaw. I'm going to go and I'm going to do my thing under the bylaw. Oh my God, there's a Board of Health thing that covers the same thing and also talks about a special permit granting authority? So if we're going to keep the two, I feel like they've got to be cross-referenced, or they've got to be kind of brought into alignment with one another. Theirs does not have exactly the same content as ours.
Right. That was because I'm looking at their aquifer, their aquifer protection overlay area district. And obviously ours is far more comprehensive.
Ours is, it's funny, ours is more comprehensive. Theirs is more restrictive in terms of that defining impervious surface and whether or not you can use things like permeable pavers. So, my
So
personal
how-
feeling is it really needs to be united.
Right.
Somehow.
So my question for this board and for the three of us to sort out is, as far as, I mean, the planning board is gonna go to town meeting with this bylaw, and we may have to just adjust accordingly. Not adjust accordingly, but address it accordingly.
Mhm.
I agree, to have the term special permit granting authority used in two completely different oversight documents, the bylaw and the regulation, it could be confusing to a resident. Having two public hearings for the same project, basically applying the same, some of the same
Yeah.
logic, to me,
Yeah.
doesn't seem like a good service. So what do we do about that?
Well, one place we might want to start is we did raise it to Jeremy, who listened very carefully to what we had to say, and kind of nodded that this really is kind of something that should be. I don't think we've heard anything more from him, but that might be a place to start. Is it seemed like you heard our concerns, and is there anything that we can do at this time to work with you to coordinate this?
Right. I am not willing to modify our regulation to address to address a bylaw that hasn't been adopted yet. I think right now it's in their draft format for them to try to address it with respect to the Board of Health. And what I mean is, maybe there's room in here. Right now, as it stands, you need a public hearing for this and a public hearing with us for the same deck expansion.
Right.
But wait a
on.
minute, now, let's remember something, that because the planning board has been ever-changing, let's say, and what we have done in the past is you can combine them. If you had a big project
Yeah.
that was in the aquifer protection, first of all, when you come here, there should be if you're going to say the building inspector and saying, I'm going to do this, right away, he should say, you need to go to the planning board, but you need to go to the Board of Health too.
Yeah.
It's in their aquifer protection district regs.
Right.
Which would mean we could have a combined hearing.
Yeah.
And we have done that in the past.
Yeah.
But you can't confuse a bylaw with a reg.
Right. I don't,
And if you look at the first, when it was first adopted, the bylaw, and we were listed as the special permit granting authority, that had gone to the Attorney General
Right.
too. So you
Right.
see,
And it was
things
accepted.
can change with who's ever in that particular office too.
Right.
Which is why I think eventually
Well, I
we
think they
developed
were-
our regulations.
I think in that respect, didn't it sound to you, Mary, like they were acting on the advice of their consultant, who said that for a zoning bylaw, the planning department has to be the SPGA?
Okay, so for a
So
zoning bylaw,
that's kind of like a
that's
zoning
fine.
issue,
Right.
yeah.
So in theory,
But-
right now, we don't have to do anything,
No,
because
No.
we are the special permit granting authority for our regulation, which isn't the zoning bylaw, which is a health regulation. So in theory, what I wanted to try to do is just kind of, if there's no immediacy, then we can suggest when if the bylaw passes at town meeting, that we go to the planning board and say, when you get an application for a special permit in the aquifer zone, you need to let us know, and we will have a joint meeting with you.
Well, it does say that they may grant a special permit only if it determines blah, 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 in conjunction with the Board of Health.
Right, that's fine.
So
What page is
that,
that?
but
I
it
think
doesn't
is
really
there.
specify it
Right,
out,
right,
you
right.
know,
What
but
is
this
the,
would be I think
It's on page 43,
Thank you.
under the special permit procedures.
Good.
But I would not mind if, I don't know if there's any opportunity for us to do this, but I would be more than happy to sit down with Jeremy, the consultant, or whoever on their group to just see if we can get their bylaw more in line with our regulation, so that it's
Well, what I
consistent.
actually think is not to make it in line, but to reference it directly. So that way, like we did with the solid waste regs, if ours changes, the language in the bylaw would be older. Do you know what I mean? Like, if there is a line put in here, a section, I don't even know, however it puts that, you know, the property within the Aquifer Protection District shall be in compliance with the Board of Health Aquifer Protection Regulation at all times, I would be okay with that. I'm not changing our regulation for the zoning bylaw. I think right now they could put something in there. I do see special permit procedures in conjunction with the Board of Health, Conservation Commission,
Yeah,
and Department
that's
of
true.
Public Works.
But it doesn't
It's true.
say a public, it
Right.
doesn't say a public hearing.
Right. Let me just see.
I think one of the things, though, that could really fall within the cracks, and I'm particularly sensitive to this because I live in the district, and that is that the zoning bylaw has a different definition for impervious from our regulation. So we could be in a situation where someone has
Who has the more restrictive and more environmentally protective definition?
the zoning. But I feel that for residential properties, it's unnecessarily restrictive. They say that semi-porous paving is considered impervious. And what's funny is Laurie Nearing, who also lives in the Aquifer Protection District, was sitting right near me. And when I raised this concern...
Laurie did?
Yep.
She lives up on Highland.
Maybe she doesn't live in the district.
No.
I don't know. But she did lean forward and say, you know, this was a good point, that I am more than willing to pay the additional money in my property for semi-pervious paving materials, which are very expensive compared to standard, you know, say, cement block, because they do allow water to pass through. Under the zoning bylaw, you can't do it. It's just defined as, nope, impervious includes semi-pervious or semi-porous paving materials. Ours does not have that restriction. So you could have someone get a special permit that would be granted by one,
And not,
perhaps by us,
and not granted.
and
by
not
them.
granted by the zoning, by the planning department, to do the exact same thing. So that's why I kind of feel like you really need to come into alignment a little bit better, because that's really bad service for residents.
What I would, again, I'm gonna sound like a broken record. Because for purposes of town meeting and the on-ramp leading up to that being as short as it is, I would yield to the zoning bylaw to make a change over the regulation. And if you wanted to have that conversation about the inconsistency between the regulation and the zoning bylaw, I would be okay with that. Because I think at the
Okay.
very least, that should be in line, because that presents an immediate conflict. Like,
Right,
you're saying,
right.
I like, you know, apples and oranges. I mean, it is
Yeah.
a direct, not the same
Let them, what you're
situation.
saying is let them make that change
Let them make
to
the
theirs.
change to their bylaw.
Because, you know, we had a situation, and I want to think a few years back when they were doing, and going to start a project over near Grove Pond. So our whole board, our health agent, the DPW superintendent, the water foreman, and I believe there was somebody from Mass DEP, we were all there to say, wait a minute, this is what you've got to do because you're in our aquifer protection, those are our Grove Pond wells. There was nobody from planning board there. That was all us, and we, you know, with Mass, with the
Okay.
deck and everybody over there. So, and I think we've always done a good job with overlaying that. So I agree here that it makes more sense for them to make that
Yes.
change.
Can you get an email over to Jeremy?
Absolutely.
And he's so
Yeah.
open to anything. I know that he would be open to bringing that back. And to
I will
the
most
consultant,
definitely do that.
and call it out in our regs versus their bylaw, and tell them, I think that we as a board are just in agreement that the definition should line up, and, you know, dare I even say that unless their consultant can prove to me hardcore environmental evidence that there is, you know, I mean,
Yeah, I know.
hardcore environmental data that would convince me to change our us to, I'm like,
Yeah.
if
I know.
it's, you know,
And we always put our regulations, go through the state and everything
That's
just to check. Why doesn't he come to our meeting?
Right. I didn't invite him to this
No,
meeting.
not tonight, but,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, if he wants to for the next meeting.
I'll email him. This may be a
Actually,
very,
you
it may be
could
minor.
actually invite him and say the March 14th meeting, we would be happy to have him
oh, this is true, yeah.
and the consultant if they feel, you know. if-
Yeah.
You know what, why don't you go ahead and convey the comment back to him and extend the invitation and then when is Jane?
In a
I
couple
think
of
she's
weeks.
gone 2 full weeks.
Yeah, this week,
In the
Yeah,
next
this week and
week.
next week.
and then on the way. So he can just get back to Jane ahead of her setting the next
Yeah, okay.
agenda, because we don't
Okay.
meet until the 14th. So
Right.
we have some time, so he can get back to Jane and she can get him on an agenda.
It-
Copy Jane.
Okay,
It might be
That
just
works.
something that you could do with him and just
Exactly.
say,
If
rather
it's
than trying to
something-
get,
Say, if you
Yeah.
wish
Oh.
to discuss this or disagree, come to
Yeah.
the board meeting. Yeah,
I
I don't
mean,
know that we need a
why would you
consultant.
Yeah.
try to pay to
Yeah.
get a
true.
consultant here
Good
when
point.
this is a minor?
Good
I
point.
consider it
Yeah.
minor.
Okay, fair.
Yep,
Thank you for that.
that works.
Okay. All right, thanks for that. Thank you for, it's better to have I know we tried to do everything remotely and by memo, but you know what, nothing beats a good, hard
Yeah,
conversation sometimes,
yeah,
so thank you
yeah.
for that. All right, let me let you catch up a minute.
Okay, so, let's see, so our regulation with regards to impervious is
More restrictive.
more restricted,
No.
no, less restricted.
Less, well,
I'm sorry.
ours doesn't define.
Right,
Ours
that's
is,
correct. There's a conflict
little more
between the
open.
two.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I
yeah,
didn't mean to
theirs
confuse you.
specifically excludes certain things. Ours has more of a descriptive definition.
All right.
Okay,
So
Take
I will do
a,
that. Do you want me to
just let
CC
me-
you on that?
you can if you want, and you
Okay,
can just,
I'll
you
do
know
that.
what, you have to do at the very top, just put not for
Yeah,
deliberation.
not for deliberation, sure.
Because I won't reply
Yep,
at
Yeah.
all.
yep, that's fine.
All right. Let's move on to the minutes. The minutes go way back to January 25th. And they have been reviewed and reviewed and reviewed.
and all that. I don't even, have you got a copy
I
there?
do, and I
too?
have a clean copy too. This was
Okay.
her clean copy, so.
All right, well, I did review them and everything,
Yes, you
so I
did.
would make a motion to approve the minutes, and that was on January 25th. and
Correct.
When I do these up, I'll make a notation too that we had a meeting canceled due to a storm.
Oh,
so-
yeah, that's
Oh,
great.
okay.
So that,
All
Yep.
right, and I would second that.
okay.
A motion has been made and seconded to accept the minutes from January 25th. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion carries. You want to sign that? I'll send it.
I certainly do. It's only taken me 5 years, but I'm remembering to bring a pen. There you go.
Okay.
And I'll put everything back in the folders here.
Okay,
That way.
yeah, I'll keep it all together.
Yeah.
And this is
222.
2216.
All right. There's just one other item in this to be signed folder, and it's just a standard form. Pam, we belong to a group called the Mass Mosquito Control Project.
Oh, yeah.
And it really is just asking us to have this form signed. It's just around, I would just read it for you. It's a support for funding. And we
Oh.
sign it every year.
Yeah,
So, okay,
it does sound familiar.
great. I am trying to figure out, So this is,
I know we've signed it every year
Yes,
because
we
we
have.
participate in
I
that.
know, I'm just trying to figure out whether it's my signature or not. Or whether it's the town administrator.
Well, I think we always sign it. He might
Yep.
probably get something for their office too.
All right, here we go.
Is there anything on the back?
No.
No, okay. Then I think it's something we've signed every year.
Oh, you know what? It designates somebody to sign it.
Well,
So
you go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna designate, I don't know why this is even a, Mary, I'm gonna have you sign it. You're the clerk.
Oh, that makes sense. It's another of the pleasures of
If
the
you
Aquifer
just sign it,
District.
I'll fill it in for you. If you sign it, I'll just print your name.
Okay.
I'll print it and then we'll. It's so funny in this, it's just so funny. It's the same
I
form
think I
they've
remember
been.
that form. It's like you have to designate and then.
It's kind of, I'll fill it in
So
for
it's
you.
weird if you
print it.
Okay, all right,
designate and
it's up to you.
sign, yeah,
It's just crazy.
yeah.
All right. All right, minutes.
Okay.
Excellent. And it's already in a self-addressed stamped envelope, so.
Do I need to make a copy?
Oh, yeah.
For
make a
us,
copy.
for-
Make a copy tomorrow. Thank you.
Yeah, and then I'll
Thank you.
mail it out.
I think we have a mosquito control binder, if I remember
Board of Health.
correctly.
I think we do.
Can-
Yeah,
All
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
just go into.
Mail. Oh, this is just a notification from DEP on just some office hours they're gonna be hosting. Hard copy of our budget from the Neshoba Board of Health, but I'd already received a digital copy and
Yeah.
sent it over to Lisa. Probably a few of these notices of loss on properties from ice and water.
Right,
That's too
yeah,
bad.
yeah.
Ice, water, fire, ice dams. It's
Oh,
sad,
boy.
because that's, when you're making that kind of,
Oh, I know.
claim. This is a well permit, it's for a monitoring well, and it's over on Fitchburg Road that was drilled
Yeah, okay.
by Clean Harbors, for Clean Harbors. So sometimes it's, I'm just trying to see what
Okay,
the,
monitoring well.
95 Fitchburg Road. So sometimes they,
That's not related to the
95 Fitchburg?
yeah,
Devons. not
it's
related to the
out
airfields.
past,
It could be.
they're just monitoring wells,
Okay.
taking,
Yep. Monitoring is good.
so this is a note. This is a note from the DEP to Vitasoy, from a follow-up to a 2013 conversation with Vitasoy, and their administrative consent order issued in 2013. I thought you'd appreciate that little nugget.
Wow.
That's why I wanted to make sure it wasn't a typo, but they mentioned it a couple of times.
Gotta say the state is
It's a
really
return
on
to
top of
compliance.
things.
It's a return to compliance letter.
Oh,
years
my
in the making.
Gosh, wow.
Yep. And they ultimately ended up paying a $10,995 fine as a result of that. But in 2013, it was bad. Like that
Was that about odor or was that about a wastewater?
no, this was air pollution.
Yeah.
These were the air
Okay.
pollution issue. It's just funny. It's just 3 years in the making.
But with their new processing
Yeah.
plant and everything is so much better over there. And we're
Yeah.
not getting all that stuff to our wastewater treatment
And
plant.
just more claims.
Yeah.
So, just an update from the CDC on the Zika virus. I haven't heard or seen anything local on that, so.
It's always something new.
And aside from that, that is all the mail.
So
we
it was
had.
pretty much routine.
Very routine, incredibly routine, Mary.
Okay, that's how it'll go in my notes.
And no
Incredibly.
bills, no bills?
No bills.
Oh, I think we paid the
We're all
quarterly
squared
one
up right
last
now.
time.
We did. We paid our quarterly one at the last meeting. Under miscellaneous, I think you saw that I'm not rerunning for my term.
I did.
And it doesn't happen as an easy discussion, and maybe I'll be back in a year, you know.
Yeah.
I said to Mary, you know, it's not that I won't be following it. It's just, it's transitioning to an international company will take a little bit of time for me.
Absolutely.
And congratulations.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you.
New
It's
job
kind of a big
opportunity,
job.
too.
It's kind of a big, it's,
Yeah.
I'm hoping that it's good for me professionally, but I also, it's probably gonna be a little fun too, you know? Like when I
Good.
say fun, like just doing something different, a little fun.
Good.
So,
Good. I'm really happy for you.
Yeah.
and you know,
good
my
for you.
kid is going to college in September, so if I need to travel a little bit more, she's not
Yeah.
the wee one.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, exactly.
but hopefully we've had we've only heard, I don't know if anybody's properly turned in papers yet, but a couple of people have pulled papers. So hopefully
Yes.
the vacancy, hopefully they'll have some, but for all the boards, I just hope for all
Yeah.
Oh,
the
I
boards.
do too.
Obviously, we're selfish, but some of the other boards that I think we all struggle with the same challenge of.
There are boards that have had vacancies for years, 5-member boards that barely, and you know, when you are designated a 5-member board and you only have 3 and one's away, you don't have a quorum because your quorum is based on the number you're supposed to have.
Supposed to have, right.
And I know that's been a problem for the
Yeah.
finance committee, so it's difficult. The core group of people are serving on all this, you know, they're on all the
Yeah,
boards.
right.
We
You're
used to
absolutely
have a bigger group of people that participated, we don't anymore.
You're right.
People have big jobs,
Yeah.
husband and wife, they're busy
Yeah.
with the children. It's just, we're not getting, and it's not just here,
Oh, I
because
know.
you read
Yeah.
this
I
in
think in
every
general.
community.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah,
I
I
think
know.
in general, it's a overall lack of volunteerism. But so anyway, for the next meeting, we'll meet on March 14th. And hopefully, maybe just with a follow-up from you that the planning board's going to adjust it. If not, we'd welcome to have a discussion around it. If he needs to be
I
on the
will
agenda,
absolutely
let Jane know.
contact, yeah.
I'm sure, you know, if he wants to have a discussion around it, we certainly can, but
Yeah.
in our house,
Yeah.
but other than that, I mean, we just have some normal routine things. I'll be traveling the week ahead of it. I'll be in England.
Okay.
And so I should be able to work with Jane or you know, if Mary's around or
The week
otherwise.
ahead of
the next meeting.
before.
I'll
Oh, you're
be-
going to be
I
at the
leave,
next
I
one?
leave I leave March 5th
Yeah.
and I'll be back that following Sunday.
Oh, for some reason I thought you were missing the next.
No, I'm here.
meeting. No, you're here.
I
Okay,
am here for
okay.
March 14th. I'll be flying home on March 13th, so I don't know, you know, what shape I'll be
She
in.
may fall asleep at
I
the
may
table,
fall
but
Oh,
But I'll be
I
here
know.
because it'll be one of my last couple of meetings.
Well, I know.
That's why.
it.
I know we got a
Time's
party.
getting short.
We got a party.
We got to get married to Carla.
Not right.
never going to
something
happen.
here.
I can tell you that.
Is that a motion to adjourn?
No,
Or do you have something?
no. I just want to ask. This came to mind because Chris brought it up at the last Board of Selectmen meeting. He wanted to know. He said, "Where are we on some of these properties?" And it just rang a bell, and I thought, do we have any properties that we went to housing court that we need? It's been so long that
don't
I
have
don't.
any.
I don't know. I think ours were settled.
I think ours were.
So when he said it, I thought, well, maybe we need to
I
look.
don't believe that we currently have anything that wasn't already being,
That's what I
Yes.
thought.
I think that is correct.
do you know what I mean? Like, we didn't
Yeah.
have anything new up in our world. As a matter of fact, even
Yeah.
at our last joint meeting, there wasn't
I didn't think we did.
Right,
but
that's what I'm remembering, is that we
It's
didn't
been so
really
long.
have
Anything
any-
that's been in the system is in the system.
I mean, whatever they have, they might, the Board of Selectmen might have
Right.
some issues,
Yes,
but I thought
exactly.
ours were okay.
Yeah.
And the one up on West Main Street that was kind of a joint one, from what I understand from the Selectmen's meeting, that someone is interested in buying that property and putting condos in there.
Really?
Yes, yes, so
Wow.
that will be a distinct cleanup, shall we say.
Oh, also be a distinct improvement.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Yes, get all that.
I'm not aware of anything right now, aside
Okay.
from
Yeah.
when I talked to Bridget about this other property, but I don't think that's not a joint
Yeah,
board
I
issue.
don't-
That's
No,
our
I didn't
own.
think
No,
we
I
did,
don't
but
think so.
it's been so
No.
long, I just thought I'd mention it.
No, it's a good point.
And I think we maybe need to be a little more careful this year. I mean, we don't go after people, they clean out a garage, they stick some furniture out front, they say free, or, we don't care.
Yeah.
And if people want to have a yard sale. However, when it's wintertime and they're sticking stuff out front and it's wet and it's snowy, I don't like to see that.
It's a hazard in the making.
Well,
at that point.
plus the fact that I understand people are fixing your houses up. There's one I'm keeping an eye on right now. You probably have seen it, Pam. But if you're renovating and you've got a big dumpster, fine. But get the dumpster emptied or cover it over. But when the dumpster is filled, just don't keep throwing bags and stuff near the sidewalk
Oh, yeah,
and stuff.
yeah.
So I think we maybe, like I said, on this one property, we might need to give a call and get something done. It's time to clean it up.
Apply our dumpster regulation, right? Is it a construction dumpster? Or is it a commercial dumpster?
probably.
It's a
Probably
commercial,
is.
because, well, they've got a lot of stuff. See, the dumpster is filled, and now we've got bags
Oh.
and stuff.
Yeah.
And
But is that a temporary dumpster? Was that a temporary dumpster that was brought in for a clean out? As
well,
opposed to the dumpster that, would like always be there?
no, this is temporary
This is
because
temporary,
they're,
okay.
but the dumpster right now is covered with a tarp. But there's stuff on the lawn, there's stuff that's pushed up to the
I got you.
sidewalk
Yeah,
and everything,
That
and
needs to be-
Yeah.
that,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
And I'm not sure, and I'm glad you brought up the trash hauler regs, that we have got everything from everybody we see in town.
I want to see so the dumpsters, I think certain temporary construction
That's different.
dumpsters were different.
That's different.
Right.
Yeah, the last I talked to Jane, she had gotten in another,
Yeah, I just signed one.
another
I think that's
packet of
11.
information, yeah.
I want to say it's 11 at that point.
Yeah.
I know that I think some of the ones when Pam, remember when we first looked around town and you saw them, you said, oh my gosh, I didn't realize there were this many trash haulers in town.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a few of them since. I don't know if they're not in town or if they've merged with someone else. But
Right.
there's a couple that
If you
I'm
know their
questioning.
names, yeah,
And I'm going to follow up on one of them because I do see the big recycling one, and yet I asked Jane and she said, oh, they're out of business. Well,
Well, if they're in town and they're telling her they're out of business.
exactly,
there's not a,
exactly.
There's not much discussion at that point. Yeah.
I'm
Unless
gonna-
they are, and somebody else took over the
Well, then we
dumpsters,
need to
then
know.
it's an issue of.
Then,
The
exactly.
dumpster has to be
Exactly.
labeled with,
Right.
And,
you know.
if you see some of the big haulers, and it'll have a name, and then you look way down and you'll see another company. So you say, is this another
Yeah.
part of them, or is it running as a separate?
Right.
Because if it's being run
Right.
as a separate.
Right.
Right.
So
Right.
we'll follow up
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah.
Anything else, folks?
Now, are we going to plan to try and have maybe Jeremy here for that?
I think so, I think.
Because
I'm going to invite him.
Okay, they're planning a special public hearing, I think, on this, or a special town meeting on it. They're not planning to bring this
To spring.
zoning for spring.
Right, I did hear that.
Oh,
That's what I took from that meeting.
Yeah,
that-
okay.
exactly, that's what I was hearing
Okay.
them say.
Okay.
So there's
Because,
some time then.
Well, not that much time, because they plan to
Yeah.
have it in June.
yeah,
So
I think they just
it's
didn't want to
right.
tangle it up with all the, because it's
Right.
a pretty big thing in itself,
Yep.
so.
Okay,
It sure is.
all righty. Well, if that's all,
Yes, that is it.
so I'll make a motion to adjourn at 6:35.
Excellent. A
I will-
motion has been made.
And seconded?
Excellent, and seconded by Pam. All those in favor?